welcome to my channel. My name is Sophie and I collect Reborn and silicone dolls. A while back I saw these bottles all over the Reborn community and I was immediately obsessed. These bottles are like kind of really expensive. They had this big sale and they offered free shipping for all orders on the 4th of July. So I bought my bottles that day. That really helped to bring down the price because shipping to me is like super expensive because I live in Canada, which is a nightmare just because of shipping. Honestly, the rest is great. The bottles come in a lovely matte white box with their logo and the anatomy bottle featured on the top. There are 5 shades to choose from and 5 nipple sizes available. The box lid is magnetized, and when you open the box, you're greeted with some instructions. These explain how to assemble and hold the bottles properly. There is also a QR code that will lead you to a tutorial on how to properly use these bottles. I got my starter kit in a size 4 in the shade Light, which is the second lightest shade available. The starter kit has 2 bottles inside, the anatomy bottle and the classic bottle. And the classic sorry, that's my dog. Classic bottle is the more vertical of the 2. I love the way these bottles look. They're weird, they are funky, they're like nothing I've ever seen before, and I don't regret buying them at all. I really thought that I would regret buying them, but I don't regret it at all. They're kind of super expensive. Like, the starter kit was $55, which is super expensive. Like, that's just ridiculous. But I attribute that to the company being relatively small, and they're still figuring out shipping to like a bunch of countries and continents. Each bottle has a silicone bottom, which is entirely for grip and not for sealing purposes. You can remove this part and the bottle is still completely sealed. There is a small ribbon sticking out from underneath the tray holding the bottles, and when you pull on it, the tray lifts up to see what's under the bottles. Underneath there is a bottle brush, bottle caps, and lids. There are also the valves that determine the flow of the bottles. These valves come in 3 speeds: slow, medium, and fast. The fast valve has 5 holes, while the slow valve has only 1. These different flows are interchangeable depending on the age of your baby and how quickly they should be feeding. To assemble these bottles, you must insert the valve of your choosing into the underside of the nipple, then you can close the bottle. These valves make the sealing process of these bottles a little more complicated, because not only do you have to seal the outer nipple, but also the holes in this component. I did notice that the valve can fall out of the nipple quite easily if you apply too much pressure. This can get tricky if you're doing role play with these bottles, because you're kind of pushing the bottle up against the baby's face. So make sure not to push too hard or the valve will fall out and then the milk will leak a lot easier. And you can see that in this clip here. An argument could be made not to use the valve when using the bottles for reborns. But as you'll see, the valves are these little circular discs and they have little bumps on them. So basically, when they're underneath the nipple, you can feel the bumps underneath, which is super cool because that's actually kind of what like a boob. It's actually kind of what a boob is like. It's not super mushy, it's got like things inside of it. Anyway, another interesting aspect of these bottles are the long filaments inside the nipple. which I assume keep the nipple upright while feeding so as not to be crushed against the valve. I will say that these bottles are a little rough around the edges. Here is what the bottle looks like with one of the caps on and the lid that goes with it. I've found that the lids don't cooperate well with the nipples. They don't get on easily and they don't come off either. There are some very small, almost unnoticeable imperfections in the way that the plastic is molded and the silicone is cut. These imperfections do not at all take away from how incredible these bottles are. I just thought that it was something that I should note, because I just wanted you guys to know that these bottles aren't perfect like they are made out to be on social media, but the flaws are super small and the bottles are still super sick. I highly recommend them. There's just something so odd and fantastic about these bottles. You just kind of have to experience it for yourself, to be honest. After I opened the bottles, I gave them a good wash with the provided bottle brush, which inexplicably reminds me of the plumbus in the TV show Rick and Morty. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. If you don't know what a plumbus is, you can look it up on Google or whatever, and it looks exactly like this bottle brush. It's actually super funny. All in all, the bottles are quite chic and definitely abstract. I've never seen anything like these, and they genuinely fascinate me. I think it's incredible that technology has come far enough to create bottles for babies that could help them transition from bottle to breast, because I know that's a really big issue. When babies are born, they get used to bottle feeding and then they can't breastfeed afterwards. So maybe this bottle could help with that. Usually in my reborn journey, whatever, I do my best to kind of be thrifty when it comes to reborn things. I like to thrift, I like to go to thrift stores, and I like to go to garage sales to pick up baby clothes and things. But part of the reason that I do that is so that I can kind of splurge on things that really, really interest me, such as really funky, weird baby bottles like these. And honestly, I was just so curious when I saw them in Instagram posts and in videos and stuff. I just had to have these. I don't know what it is. They're just so unusual and strange looking. I literally couldn't hold back. So, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and that you enjoyed the kind of soft-spoken vibes. I wish you good luck with all of your things, and have a great day. What the heck is that?